level design lead, and so he was able to like supervise and guide the revamps of those battlegrounds. So that was really cool.
There was one art direction meeting where we went to Warsong Gulch, and everybody remembers the bush you can hide in because it was very blocky and triangular, and yeah, it covered your character. Fairly consolidated storyline where you head in there, you blow up some ships, you make your way into the interior, you fight a giant golem made of gold and jewels and stuff. Pretty awesome creature. You kill King Rosticon. Sorry for the spoilers, but everything stayed in mind at this point, so nothing's really spoilers. And then, as you're heading out, you can talk to some of the survivors that stayed back behind you to help defend, and ask them what happened. And you're going to be undergoing a little flashback where you get transported into the body of a Horde player, and yeah, all of your racials change. So you're going to be playing as a completely different character at that point with completely different abilities. Sorry, Horde, you're going to lose Arcane Torrent at some point. So, you know, maybe Mythics will be a little bit closer between Alliance and Horde this time since they don't have all their OP racials. But yeah, we wanted to feel like you are playing as the Horde player going against Jaina in that fight so that you can experience her awesome power. And as Alliance player, that should feel like an awesome moment to feel like, this is why we escaped. She stopped them. She held them off. She is awesome. Also, she drops a cool mount, so I'm going to kill her, but... that's the psychological part I'm torn with, is even playing as them, even seeing their side, even seeing what she did, I'm still the one doing the DPS on that. And when you come out of that flashback, you'll have that moment of like, wow, she really stood up for us against the Horde. Awesome. And I did max DPS. Excited to see it. Although Jaina in particular, especially on Mythic, drops a special mount. So you're going to have a little bit of an extra reason to go into that fight. She drops a water elemental mount. I don't know if you saw the statue downstairs at Blizzcon with the ice kind of forming up around her. That's the pedestal that you're standing on top of the water elemental, is in a little ice form, and you're kind of surfing on top of it. Wow, very cool. And pass on gratitude to whoever made that statue. They did a fantastic job with that, and the miniature is whoever that art team was.
I'm just curious, systems-wise, how is it determined? Because I've always wondered this since we had all sorts of different... of ocean that's been split by Azshara's magic, and then when you go down into it, when you look out through the water, it's actually like glass. It's a wall of water that you can look into the ocean that she's kind of, through sheer force of will, has busted apart so that the Naga can make an assault. Yeah, we were like, it has to be underwater, right? I mean, it's Magitar, but I mean, Is there anything you can share about what that's going to be like to fight underwater, and what's the breath situation, and you know? So Magitar, the zone itself, because of the pushing of the water walls, this is our way of like, oh well, you're underwater, you're under the ocean level, but you're not actually underwater. So, but there will of course be some, you know, you'll swim down into caves, and there's that question mark in the what's next panel of underwater boss. The question mark is there. Well, that's why I asked that question. Yeah, how do you fight a boss under the water? We need to make that happen though. Like, there's no other place. We did Kael'thas. He had some space flying around stuff. If he doesn't exist yet, maybe a giant Murloc hybrid of something. You're gonna have to fight some terror from the deep in some deep dark crevice of Nazjar, and yeah, it's gonna be great. Fantastic. I bet. No, I'm not questioning. Absolutely. Very cool. Going back to the... will show up after a certain amount of time. So you can imagine 3 towers spread around the zone. The Naga retake them every couple of hours, and this causes major detriments to players in the zone. Creatures get stronger. Azshara's eye is on all of us, right? And she's empowered her 3 crystals. We're going to head to those 3 towers. We're going to break in, doing things that aren't necessarily just killing things, but maybe involve a little bit of puzzle solving, maybe involve a little bit of, area denial dodging, all that kind of good stuff. To break in there, destroy those crystals, and take control over them. But what if, imagine a world where there was an additional piece in war mode, where you could also then capture the tower and gain additional war mode bonuses for your side. And that gets a little bit back to that Hellfire Peninsula idea of capturing things back and forth. A lot of our favorite ideas from the past for investigating here. Similarly with rare spawns. What if there were more rare spawns that showed up more rarely, or involved you having to do very special things to get them to spawn? Similar to Hulon back on Timeless Isle. We love that idea of everybody in the zone saying, oh, holy crap! There's this thing up, it has a chance to drop them out, everyone get in here! That's an awesome thing, and the best part about that is you can't expect that. That will change up your gameplay on a day-to-day basis, and you're going to be like, whoa, I need to stop whatever I'm doing and go do this thing. So we're looking at systemically adding those replayable systems that had a ton of different layers that mean that when you're out here for the 30th or the 35th day, maybe you'll see something brand new that you haven't seen before, and it's way different than our existing World Quest system in a way that we feel like evolves the system forward. We definitely want all of the World Quests in the space to feel new and unique and different. Some of them will be multi-stage, some of them will be group quests, some of them will involve everybody in the entire zone. We may even have bosses that are spawned across the entire region and announce the person who managed to get the boss to spawn to everybody else as the awakener of this deep, dark power. Wouldn't that be awesome? These are the kind of things that we want to chase for Nazjatar because I think they're the things that make extended endgame really interesting for World of Warcraft. Some of the other things that we're thinking about, you saw the friendship factions that we showed yesterday. The Horde are going to be making friends with the Makura and the Gilblin and the Sea Giants. Well, did you know that there are individuals of each of those groups that you can take out with you to adventure for the day? And they have their own leveling bar. And as they level up, you get additional powers. They also tell additional storylines. Sometimes you will find things out in the game world that unlock storylines for them. You may find a cup that one of them lost a long time ago that will send you to somewhere else in the world and tell a deep character storyline. And it's these kind of things that will change up your gameplay every single day. So imagine you have 3 different characters that you can level up, and each of them has a certain number of levels where at certain level echelons they get brand new powers or abilities that include things like unlocking new dailies around the zone, or if you bring the Gilblin with you, of course, it's going to unlock your ability to see new and hidden treasures around the zone, some of which may continue his personal storyline. All these things, I think, make great endgame content. That's our major focus.
Cool. When you talk about spawn time of some of those rare mobs, are they going to be as lengthy as, say, Pound Fist, so unpredictable and so rare that no one ever sees them? Some of us have never seen them still.
I think that the right place for this zone is everything from A to Z. You want, and that's what we did with Timeless Isle. Golganar was one of the meanest things I've ever done to players. This was required for the achievement for the zone, and he had a special toy drop, and his spawn time was, we've changed this, so I get spoiled for you because we can't do anything like this anymore with charting. I think it was like 2 to 48 hours. So, I'm mean.
We know,
like,
we know.
But when you did see him, you were like, whoa!
Yep.
I've been here for 6 months, and I
And
have
never seen him. Yep.
That's awesome. And having that mystery exist in our game, especially in the end game content, is one of those things that makes you excited to log in every day. Just that kind of concept that we're chasing for the gameplay here.
Cool.
Time for one more question.
All right. Is there anything that you two feel like hasn't been explored at this BlizzCon that you really want to share with us?
That's a good question. Wacky ones.
Correct.
So if you require one particular herb, you'll see different ones.
That was my next question, is if there would be some rotation of materials at some point, but if there's different quests for each side, then that works too. So.
As far as the
Putting
new
that
heroic,
additional information on the item, that's something we should look into. All the holiday items are intended to be transmogged during the holiday because we feel like that's totally in the spirit of the season. Like, everybody should look like witches during Halloween and should have their Christmas hats on during, you know, the Feast of Winter Veil and all that kind of good stuff. But we want to maintain the art direction of World of Warcraft over time. Now, that said, I think one of the things that you're seeing is that over time, as we are adding additional player customization options, and this went through artifacts, as we went through, you know, Legion, you saw us loosening up some of these restrictions. We started off a lot more restrictive, but you're going to be seeing, for example, the Heritage armor is transmoddable over any different type of armor set. So it's always something we're looking at. It's not something we want to completely blow out right away.
But as a player, there's still some confusion, right? Because Hezekiah has just explained that, oh, well, we want to not let you transmog cloth the plate because we want to keep the player race identity, but now Heritage armor, everyone can wear it. Well,
Right.
okay. How does that work?
So for certain, yeah, in certain cases, we're making those concessions.
Yep.
And then I think you're going to find over time that we're finding more and more places to allow you to customize your character.
Yep.
Like, you can now, I think in Tides of Vengeance, we just announced today that you can transmog fist weapons over, or you can transmog just about anything else over a fist weapon, which is great. Although, if you look at things like wands, they provide an additional
They need some
level
extra help,
of
yeah.
discomfort when you're, you know, swiping a sword and it's flinging shadow bolts out. So, we've got some problems to solve there,
Sure.
but we really do like player customization. It's not something we're trying to be grinchly about.
Well, it seems to kind of ebb and wane and sometimes revoke some flexibility periodically, but as more expansions and more gear and more options come, there's maybe some more room to loosen some things up in there.
Yeah, for sure. And
So-
I think you're seeing is kind of what we agreed on, so that they're all now a daily quest system. There's only 3 up for either Darkshore or Rathies. It's a maximum of 6.
every day you have at least one resource or one gold requiring mission, so that you're not constantly forced to, just put out crafting materials, as much as our gold liking people.
Well, it's a
would
question.
probably go in that direction, but also we've rebalanced the amount of materials required for each thing, so that they're a little bit more in line with each other, and it feels like you can do more of them. Along the same lines, we've changed all of those weekly quests. It's not really weekly, it was more whenever the thing came up, to instead of kill 20 things, there are now a bevy of world quests that show up in the zone for each area that change every day. So as long as you have ownership of the zone, or you can go to the zone and do those world quests, you're going to be seeing some brand new stuff. All of these things reward in Tides of Vengeance a brand new currency that is service medals. You get service medals from doing the war fronts, from doing all these dailies, from doing the new assaults, and from doing these contributions. These have a brand new vendor. This vendor has multiple mounts and pets and transmogs and 5 brand new heirlooms, as well as an item that increases the XP you gain on your alts. So if you're interested in alt leveling, go out and do one of these assaults and you'll have enough or service medals. They used to be called commendations. They're service medals. It's going to take me a little while to get over that. Enough to buy one of these 10%.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on the resource donation piece. Some of the resources feel out of scale in terms of drop rate, as the Legion was reasonably scarce, but there seems to be a gluttony of all those resources now. Any thoughts to balancing that? Is that intentional, that they're just surplus? You highlighted some that are things you have to make that are way out of spec in terms of cost, whereas there's stacks and stacks of the other resources. People can just throw at that all day.
For the contributions in particular? Yeah, so we're going to be rebalancing all
All right.
Tides of Vengeance.
Okay,
Calcified
great.
bone.